Hello there. My name is Howard Olson, and over the next few moments, I'm going to share with you a powerful evolutionary gold savings system that will literally enable you to turn some of your existing spending habits into savings habits and get paid in both cash and gold for showing it to others. I'm going to share with you what I honestly believe is the most powerful financial literacy program in existence today. But I want to start with a question. When you think about most Canadians, most Americans, people around the world, do you think they have a plan to get themselves out of debt and have the ability to retire in the next 3 to 5 years? So let me ask you another question. Do you? Do you have a plan to get yourself out of debt and have the ability to retire in the next 3 to 5 years? And even if you do, how's that plan working for you anyway? You see, I've asked that question literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of times in the last decade, and the answer that typically comes back is probably very similar to what you're thinking right now. And if this is true for you, I want to share with you why that is, why there's no shame in it, but more importantly, what we can do about it. Because numbers don't lie, they will always tell the truth, as long as we look at truthful numbers. And since the Great Depression in 1932, under the central bank and the Federal Reserve's banking system, the dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power, while gold, the vehicle that once backed our currencies, has risen in value by more than 6,200%. I took a snapshot of typical items being consumed in a typical home in a typical week, and I tracked them over 20, 15, and even down to 10 years. You know what we discovered? A loaf of bread has gone up 959%. Movie tickets have gone up 483%. Housing in many markets has gone up almost 1,100%. The postage stamp, small spend, but that's still an 800% increase. And milk has gone up by 257%. So let me ask you this. Have you seen a 250 to 1,000% increase in the real wages that you can bring home in the past decade? I don't think so. I know I sure haven't, and those that can respond to the question would answer the same way. And this is exactly the problem. It's why so many people are finding it so difficult to get themselves out of debt, to create any real meaningful savings, and to prepare for their financial futures, because the inflation that we're continuously told doesn't exist is very real when we look at real numbers. Now let me make this absolutely clear. It is impossible to outrun exponential inflation on our declining linear incomes. But I've come to realize most people have a misconception about the nature of inflation. They believe that it's an increase in the price of goods. And I would like to propose that inflation is not an increase to the price of goods. It's a reduction, a decrease in our purchasing power, and therefore it takes more of our currency to buy the things that we want to buy. This little example will make it crystal clear. Now, we can track the price of a man's suit over 2,000 years, so I'm going to use it. And I can go into any biblical or historical text, and I know that 2,000 years ago, the suit of the day was actually a toga, a fine robe, a handcrafted leather belt, and a pair of fine leather sandals. And the price of that outfit was 1 ounce of gold or 1 gold coin. Now fast forward to 1960. They're not wearing togas anymore. Now it's a blazer and a pair of slacks, a cotton shirt, silk tie, a handcrafted leather belt, and a pair of fine leather shoes. And you know what the price of that outfit was? 1 ounce of gold or 1 gold coin. Now, do you know what the price of the gold is? At the time of this video, gold is about $12.10. And if you were to take yourself into any fine men's shop and get yourself a fine suit, jacket and slacks, nice cotton shirt, silk tie, handcrafted leather belt, and a pair of nice leather shoes, what would the price of the entire outfit be? Exactly, about $1,200. 1 ounce of gold or 1 gold coin. Price of that suit has not changed one bit in 2,000 years when measured in a real store of value. What has happened is the value of our currency has depreciated, and the more of it they print, the less it's worth. That's what's called a fiat currency. A fiat currency is literally money which is printed out of thin air or created with the click of a mouse at absolutely no cost. It's not backed by gold or silver or anything else that's tangible. And the more they print, the less it's worth. And this is exactly why it takes more currency to buy milk, bread, and eggs than it did a decade ago. It's why it takes more currency to buy a suit today than it did a decade ago. And it's why it takes more currency to get an ounce of gold today than it did a decade ago. Because with each turn of the printing press, the value of the dollars go down, and they have been printing like there's no tomorrow. We could look at it like this. If you had $100,000 worth of cash in 1932, the purchasing power of that currency today is just $2,000. In other words, it now takes $100 today to purchase what $2 would have bought you back then. If that's not inflation, I don't know what is. We could also look at it like this. If you took that same $100,000 in 1932, used it to acquire gold, and let it sit, accumulate no interest, the value of that gold at the time of this video is $6,289,308. That's staggering. Since 1932, gold has outperformed currency by more than 6,200%. Or as Voltaire has observed, paper money, fiat currency, will always return to its intrinsic value, zero. And so everything we read, everything we see, everything we hear, all the experts agree and hold gold and hedge yourself against inflation. But there's a problem with it. First of all, at $1,200 an ounce or more, most people don't have a spare $1,200 to go off and get themselves an ounce of gold at a time to create any real and meaningful savings out of it, and therefore they don't. Secondly, it's inaccessible. Many people I talk to say, well, where do I get it? Where do I store it? What do I do with it? How do I keep it safe? And thirdly, it's difficult to use in its current form. I mean, you can't just go down to the gas station or the grocery store, give them an ounce of gold for your next loaf of bread or tank of gas, and expect to get change in return. It just doesn't work this way. So clearly, gold is the answer, but we need to get it into a more usable format. And that's what this Karatbars is all about. Karatbars International has made it possible to open for yourself a free gold savings account to give you a vehicle so you can exchange, literally establish for yourself a better savings vehicle. And all we propose is that you exchange some of your declining paper notes, and instead of saving and storing them in a cash-based account, save them and store them in an inflation-proof gold-based account. And all we're simply doing is exchanging these paper dollars for units of gold. And we save, and we save, and we save at frequencies and amounts that make sense to you. It's self-directed. You literally just give up a couple of Starbucks to create some excess cash, give up some of your spending habits, and begin to save in an inflation-proof vehicle. And then what do you do with your savings? Well, once your savings goal has been met, you simply exchange that gold back into currency at the time that you need it, having fully hedged yourself against the ravages of inflation. You see, Karatbars International specializes in making 999.9% pure gold produced by an LBMA accredited good delivery refinery and making it available to people of the world by producing it in smaller, more accessible, more affordable, and transaction-friendly spendable weights. This puts gold within reach of people of the world who couldn't previously afford it. And our whole mission is centered around a powerful savings plan, converting spending habits into savings habits and creating a systematic wealth creation, wealth preservation plan. And as affiliates, we're really not selling anything. We're simply using the Karatbars vehicle to teach people how to create a meaningful savings plan and leveraged income from a system by changing some of their spending habits into savings habits without compromising their current cash flow or lifestyle, and literally getting paid in both cash and gold for showing the system to others. Undoubtedly, this is the most powerful financial literacy program in existence today. And with our simple 3-step gold saving system, you can save money, accumulate wealth, and protect and preserve your financial future by converting your depreciating currency into spendable gold while eliminating debt, accelerating your cash flow simultaneously. Now, this video was not designed to answer all of your questions. It simply can't do that. This video was designed to pique your interest and get your attention. So my question is, did we get your attention? And if we did, I would highly recommend that you go back to the person who invited you to watch this video and get your questions answered. We've got a plethora of resources, including videos and people who understand this system, who can answer your questions and help you fully understand it. It's our objective to drip that information to you in a way that it's not overwhelming so that you can fully absorb it. And if it makes sense to you, we encourage you to open for yourself your own free gold savings account. Yes, I said free. It costs absolutely nothing to open that account. It gives you access to the full suite of tools, and then you can decide for yourself what you want to do. And you can just save in increments and in frequencies that are right for you. This is all about your agenda. And if you decide that you'd like to participate in the income side of this opportunity, we'll teach you, train you, mentor you, and support you all the way to success as defined by you. That's what this is all about. So with that, I say thanks very much for giving me a few moments of your time. Behold the power of gold. I invite you to come and join us, because really what we're doing here is building a debt-free, financially secure society, beginning with you, all those people we haven't met yet, and then ultimately also with me. Thanks very much. Look forward to working with you soon.